NFL books that says if an owner participates in bringing litigation against other owners, he must reimburse them for the legal fees. Sources tell our NFL insider Dan Graziano that the league is demanding reimbursement in excess of $2 million from Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. Our NFL insider Adam Schefter explains why the league is taking action against Jones for his behavior last season.
The league is basically ordering Jones to pay back all the fees that the compensation committee incurred while defending itself against Jerry Jones, and also for the legal fees spent on defending the Ezekiel Elliott suspension. So it's not really a fine. It sounds like juicier than it should have been, but this is something that's been in place for 20 years. It's happened in the past. I think it's other owners acting revenge here, or really just enforcing the rules. However you want to view it, maybe a combination of both.
For more on this, here's First Take.
The war isn't over. The NFL demanding court costs from Big Jer. Will Cain in the house to break it all down. How you feeling?
Well, you know, I'm a little worked up. Listen to Schefter right there.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Is this good for the league? Talk to us.
No, this is horrendous for the league because, look, I'll tell you exactly what this looks like. This looks like either Roger Goodell drunk with power, although it's not that because I know there are owners behind him. I know there are owners who are pushing him on this issue, go after Jerry Jones. So instead of it being Roger Goodell drunk with power, it's owners standing off in some kind of measuring contest, if you can kind of fill in the blanks. Donald Trump once called it his button's bigger than Kim Jong-un's button. This is billionaires measuring who's bigger and who's got more power. And the truth of the matter is, I'm sitting here. You know why I get worked up? It's not because I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, because it's a total offense to logic. There is no way that the league can go after $2 million in legal fees from Jerry Jones. There's no way. It doesn't add up. I've read all the NFL provisions. Jerry Jones, number one, was not a party to the Ezekiel Elliott lawsuit. So how do you get legal fees from a guy that wasn't even a party to the lawsuit? It was Zeke and the NFLPA that was on the other side of that lawsuit. And as for the questioning whether or not Roger Goodell's compensation was out of whack, well, guess what? Jerry Jones never filed suit. He never filed suit whatsoever. So how did you rack up legal fees on a suit that was never filed? This is revenge. This is a measuring contest by billionaires. This is petty, and it's not good for the league.
You know, this is a funny story to me, Will Cain. I mean, I got to admit to you, man, you made me laugh this morning. This is absolutely hilarious because, listen, I do understand your point. If Jerry Jones directly, wasn't involved in a lawsuit, you have a point there. But we're talking about a league that obviously has inside information. We're talking about a league that has been at the negotiating table with Jerry Jones. We're talking about owners who literally pointed out how Jerry Jones thought it was all about him instead about what was in the best interest of the league. They vilified him because of it, directly and indirectly. These are the kind of things that was going on throughout the season. So what the league is saying, whether it's the Colin Kaepernick fiasco, whether it's the negotiation with Malcolm Jenkins and his group, whether it's other issues, whether it was the compensation issue pertaining to Roger Goodell, not to mention the fact that there was somebody behind the scenes egging Ezekiel Elliott on and pushing him to continue to pursue this matter, knowing it went against the best interest of the league. These are individuals that were in the room with Jerry Jones, telling Jerry Jones, it ain't all about you. It's about us too. There's 31 other owners in this league. Now, he had a couple that sided with him, mainly Daniel Snyder and McNair from Houston, from what I was told. But by and large, the Arthur Blanks of the world, the Jeffrey Lurie's of the world, and others, Robert Kraft to some degree, and others were obviously against him. So there's evidence in terms of what he was willing to do and how far he was willing to go. Not to mention, we've discussed stories quoting Jerry Jones and his willingness to go forward, which forced the league to also legal up per se. All of those things taken into consideration. If you want to take it from the literal perspective, Will, that, excuse me, did he actually file a direct lawsuit pertaining to this matter that justifies it? I get your point there. You're absolutely right. But if you take in the totality legality of the situation and all the arbitrary stuff that was going on in the periphery, which directly involved league owners and his communication with them, they might have a case. And I don't think that could be ignored.
Max, just real quick, let me just say this to you, Stephen A. When you're going after $2 million, you get literal pretty quick. If the owners want to be mad or have their feelings hurt about how Jerry conducted business in the fall, feel free. But when you want to come get $2 million, it might get literal pretty quick.
Well, it might get literal, or it might be one of those situations where, like, listen, they're just as smart as you. They know where their money lies. They know what role he may have played. They might have a case because of direct communication he's had with them in front of one another. And that can't be denied. If you got a bunch of owners that are sitting up saying, yep, he said this, yep, he said that, this is what he pushed, this is what he was doing, and you got a mountain of individuals coming at you that are your contemporaries, that might count against Jerry.
Let me tell you what this felt like to me. When I first heard about it, I felt like you're watching like a promo, like a preview of Desperate Housewives, and you're going, I don't know, and then all of a sudden someone flips over a table and you go, oh, wait a minute, I want to watch this. So you sit down and we watch the episode, and it turns out it was kind of a misrepresentation. There wasn't much there. When I first heard of this story yesterday, I thought, oh my God, Goodell is just abusing his power to go after an owner who opposed him, and he's trying to find him. This is the greatest. Let me get my popcorn. You know, this is going to be awesome. And then I read into it a little bit. Oh, there's a provision with the other owners. It's not exactly Goodell just going after Jerry. Boo. It was interesting when I thought that's what it was. It turns out it's not exactly that.
No. Get your popcorn.
I hope so.
This is a table flip. So. This is a table flip because the provision doesn't apply. This is a straight grab of $2 million because you're mad.
Listen, in that case, that's great. If it turns out to be that, that's great. And let me tell you why. For all the protestations to the contrary, you hear, why can't, and every show you watch, not just on ESPN, across the media landscape, oh, why can't we just get back to talking about football? Why can't we just talk about basketball? We have to talk about anthem protests and Jerry Jones and Roger Goodell and in the NBA, all other kinds of issues. And it's a big soap opera. And is LeBron going to choose KD or Kyrie? And should it be televised? And we act as though we don't love that stuff. That is the stuff. That is the stuff as much as the action on the field. And I don't hide behind the idea that, like, I don't want to see it. Of course I want to see it. It's part of the drama. And I love it. I hope you're right, Will. It gives us something to follow and something to talk about, and it lends drama to the proceedings, particularly for a Cowboys team that didn't make the playoffs.
Well, excuse me. I don't hope Will is right. I hope Will is wrong. I wouldn't mind Jerry Jones losing a few dollars here. It wouldn't bother me, especially since I know how important that is to him. Because you know what will happen? If you thought Jerry Jones was coming after them before, could you imagine how ticked off he'll be if he had to then give up $2 million after all of that noise he made? I mean, this would be beautiful.
Let me explain.
It would be beautiful.
As long as we're on
I love it.
As long as we're on the television show analogies here, Stephen A., you, and for that matter, fellow NFL owners who are going after Jerry Jones, you're like the character in the television drama who's won and doesn't know how to take any lessons from your win. You want to see Jerry lose? He lost. By proxy, in the hold on. In the Ezekiel Elliott case, he lost in his fight against the compensation committee. And why did he lose, and why are they mad now? Because they think what he was doing was detrimental to the league. Let's just reverse it and apply it now. He's lost. You've won. Now ask yourself NFL, is what you're doing detrimental to the league? You don't seem to be able to learn lessons from your own victories.
I can help you here, Will. I will tell you that when I was in Minnesota, during Super Bowl week, while all of y'all were back here in warmer weather, by the way, but that's a different story for another day. I was freezing, getting picked by ice for crying out loud. That's how cold it was.
Super Bowl. I don't know what you're talking about. I was at the Super Bowl.
Whatever. You showed up and was in a suite. You probably didn't even feel the damn cold weather. Don't even get me started with you.
But you were a man of the people.
While I was there, I was a man of the people and suffering because of it. My boy lived in Minnesota for 25 years. I literally asked him when he brought his kids to the show. I said, how could you do that to these kids? How could you subject them to this kind of weather? It's a travesty. But here's my point. While I was there, Will, I was told that Roger Goodell did indeed speak to Jerry Jones and told Jerry Jones initially there would be no suspension of Ezekiel Elliott. So that's what folks were saying during Super Bowl week. If that's true, then that adds substance and credence to Jerry Jones being irate when they reversed course and ultimately Ezekiel Elliott suffered those suspensions, which means that not only did he lose, this would add insult to injury by trying to take money from him after that.
Right.
It would be bad.
And it's
I'll
not
give you
even
that
about
one.
the
It would
money,
be bad.
guys. It's not about the $2 million. This reminds me, I brought up Silicon Valley, the HBO show the other day. It's very funny. And there's maybe the first season, two billionaire tech company owners are going at each other, and they're spending money on billboards insulting the other guy, where, you know, so the other guy can see it from his office. And that actually meant more to each guy than anything else, right? Than how the company was actually doing, going at the other guy. This is all pure ego stuff.
Yes.
That's what makes it so much fun. $2 million doesn't mean anything to Jerry Jones. It's Goodell and Jerry Jones in an ego contest taking shots at each other. Get your popcorn.
It is the largest fine ever, though. Last one in 1999, it was for $1 million.
Yeah, it would
from
double.
That,
It would
from
double
that
it.
standpoint.
Yeah.
Will, always good to see
Thank you.
We'll see you on ESPN Radio, ESPN Newsletter, 3 to 6
3
Eastern,
o'clock.
starring on The Will Cain Show.
That's right.
Love it. Coming up, could Kirk Cousins be a better fit for the Vikings than the man who took them to the NFC Championship? D'Angelo Williams is back to break it down. Paul George and the Thunder got the W last night, so what was PG-13 so upset about after the game? Stay tuned to find out.
I'm not this way because I'm on camera. I'm on camera because I'm this way.
I'm glad you left this for me, Stephen A.
The dude all of a sudden started shooting like this.